The Nigerian digital space is currently on fire, and a massive debate is tearing through social media platforms following a highly controversial and explosive headline that has absolutely everyone talking today. The viral headline boldly asks if Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court is in trouble or practicing tribalism after sentencing Chukwunyere Nwabuoku, a prominent Igbo man and the former acting accountant general of the Federation, to a staggering 72 years in prison. Whenever ethnicity or regional politics is dragged into the Nigerian judicial system, the temperature in the room instantly skyrockets, and this particular case has triggered a massive wave of public outcry, conspiracy theories, and intense political arguments online. Many people reading this clickbait headline are immediately jumping to the conclusion that there is a deliberate judicial witch hunt against government officials from the southeast. They argue that highly corrupt individuals from other regions often walk away with very light slaps on the wrist, endless plea bargains, or cases that are delayed for decades. However, to truly understand what is happening and whether these heavy allegations of tribal bias hold any real water, we have to look past the sensational internet noise, completely strip away the emotional reactions, and dive straight into the hard, undeniable facts of the court proceedings that just concluded in Abuja this March 2026. Let us break down exactly what transpired inside the courtroom. Chukwunyere Nwabuoku was not simply picked on out of nowhere. He was facing a massive 9-count charge of money laundering and fraud brought forward by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, totaling an unbelievable 868.4 million naira. The core of this massive financial scandal did not even happen during his brief tenure as the acting accountant general under former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2022. Instead, the crimes were committed between 2019 and 2021 when he was serving as the Director of Finance and Accounts in the Federal Ministry of Defense. According to the meticulous evidence presented by the EFCC, Nwabuoku was accused of siphoning funds that were strictly meant for national security and defense operations. He allegedly filtered this money through several private shell companies, including Temio Synergy Concept Limited and Torge Global Investment Limited. In a country that is currently bleeding from severe insecurity and terrorism, the act of diverting money meant to equip the military and secure the nation is viewed by the courts as an absolute betrayal of public trust. During the intense trial, the prosecution brought forward 9 different witnesses to prove their case beyond any reasonable doubt. The evidence was so overwhelming that it was revealed Nwabuoku had actually voluntarily refunded over 200 million naira of the siphoned money during the investigation phase, a fact that his own defense team could not even challenge or deny in court. Furthermore, in earlier statements made to investigators, he had admitted to authorizing the transfer of these funds to private companies, although he tried to defend his actions by claiming the transfers were for classified security purposes. Justice James Omotosho, after thoroughly reviewing all the presented evidence, described the diversion of these critical security funds as absolutely appalling. He commended the anti-graft agency for conducting a brilliant, detailed, and airtight investigation that successfully tracked the dirty money as it was laundered into legitimate businesses and private portfolios. This brings us to the actual sentencing, which has caused so much confusion and outrage online. The headline screams that he was jailed for 72 years, which sounds like an extreme, unprecedented punishment designed to keep him behind bars for the rest of his natural life. However, in the Nigerian legal system, there is a massive difference between consecutive and concurrent sentencing. Justice Omotosho found him guilty on all 9 counts and sentenced him to 8 years in prison for each individual count. If you multiply 8 by 9, you get 72. But the judge explicitly ordered that these sentences are to run concurrently, not consecutively. This simply means he will serve all the 8-year sentences at the exact same time, making his actual total time spent in prison just 8 years starting from March 23, 2026, without any option of paying a fine. Navigating through these highly sensational headlines to find the absolute truth takes a lot of deep research and dedication. And if you're enjoying this factual breakdown of the Nigerian justice system, I want to quickly ask you to smash that like button right now. Liking this video is the absolute best way to tell the system to share this completely unbiased information with millions of other Nigerians who might be misled by tribalistic clickbait. Also, please take 1 second to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. We work incredibly hard every single single day to separate the facts from the fiction in our political landscape, and your wonderful support is exactly what keeps this newsroom running and allows us to keep bringing you the unfiltered truth. Returning to the massive debate about tribalism, it is very easy to see why the public is deeply divided on this issue. On one side of the argument, supporters of the convicted official feel that the Nigerian justice system is inherently unbalanced. They point to other massive corruption scandals involving politicians from different ethnic backgrounds, where suspects are granted perpetual court injunctions or are allowed to walk free after returning a tiny fraction of what they stole. They argue that the swift conviction and the heavy media spectacle surrounding an Igbo man in such a high-profile position is proof of systemic bias. On the other side of the divide, anti-corruption advocates and legal experts are fiercely pushing back against this narrative. They argue that corruption has absolutely no tribe, and using ethnicity as a shield to defend a man who admitted to transferring national security funds into private shell companies is exactly why Nigeria continues to struggle with massive public sector theft. They firmly believe that Justice Omotosho was simply doing his job based strictly on the overwhelming evidence placed before him, and the fact that the defendant refunded 200 million naira essentially proves his guilt beyond any shadow of a doubt. This entire situation brings us to a very critical conversation about accountability, justice, and how we consume news in the digital age. Headlines are specifically designed to trigger our deepest emotional and ethnic sensitivities, but as responsible citizens, we must always demand the full context. An 8-year concurrent sentence for a crime that directly undermined the security infrastructure of the country raises a completely different question. Is the punishment actually severe enough to deter other public officials from looting the treasury? If an official knows they can steal almost 1 billion naira, refund a small portion, and only serve 8 years in prison, does the system actually discourage corruption, or does it merely calculate the cost of doing business? I genuinely want to know what you think about this explosive case and the heavy allegations surrounding it. Do you believe that this 72-year headline was deliberately crafted to spark ethnic tension, or do you think there is genuine truth to the claims of tribalism in how corruption cases are prosecuted? Furthermore, do you feel that an effective 8-year prison term is a fair punishment for diverting funds meant for national defense during a period of extreme insecurity? Please go straight down into the comment section right now and share your detailed thoughts. Your unique perspective is incredibly important to this national conversation, and I read every single comment to see where everyday Nigerians stand on the fight against public sector corruption.